Peace. Yeah, so what they wanted you to feel was that to feel like you couldn't approach their I'm talking about the men. They were set up like so that the other men that was of the knowledge of their culture, like was either lamb's wool or a derivative of or close to lamb's wool. And so the ones who had the Anglo-Saxon, Dutch German, and the Spaniard Portuguese, because you can see who the colonizer are. Your language is the colonizer. And so those languages tell you who colonized us. NYC, you know how it is. Stays on. Like the city that never sleeps. Ambulance drivers have a patient, they running their signal. Must be somebody inside this store right here. They pulled up on it. But yeah, I said that to say that what they do is they make you feel the original man getting the real blunt of the whole package because of the way it's set up, so that you feel the whole cipher. You can't help but feel the whole cipher because what happens is at this level in the game. See, I understood what the guard said, but he was in the background of Bobby Hammond. He said, 6,000 year rule. You know, he quoted a degree right quick, so they would understand the cipher. But Bobby Hammond tried to dismiss him and dismiss the teachings, you know, of the original man. So I can tell you where he dismissed it that, oh, that's what we ain't know nothing. But see, he didn't understand from the opening door. When the devil came out the cave with Jesus, they now called it Europe. That's the start. That's the foundation. That's day one. Until you hit 1914. That's 6,000. That's what the God was explaining to him. But since he was like trying to be disrespectful, he said it in a disrespectful manner. As if you disrespecting Elijah Muhammad. Not cool. Didn't feel that at all. And so, that's all I'm saying. That shit did deal with. Because if we go all the way back, you'll see the determined idea to make it. You still talking, if you watch that video, you'll say, but you still saying that. That over time it got to this, to that, to yes. And by the time they were in their come up, when they was doing their come up, when they came out of the caves of West Asia, why do you think they was able to come out of the caves of West Asia? Like, why do you think that they was able to come out the caves of West Asia? New York City, baby. You know how we do it, son. Like real shit going on all the time. Right now it's on and popping. Somewhere I don't know what's going on exactly on the physical plane, everywhere on the plane. But I know right here what's going on in my West Cipher. But now it's the wisdom, right? So, if you go back to in the year 8,000, right, 387, 337, 367, look at that part, right? Right, and you could go to the year 8,400. Go to them type of dates, right? And you see the decline of the original man. You see the 70% satisfied and the 30% dissatisfied. All of that is part of the what? Decline. You see them, they went into the jungles, as they now call it. And like Elijah told them back then, he was like, yeah, and then the tribe that went into the jungles of West Asia, as they now call it, Europe. You had the tribes that went into the jungles of Africa. You had the tribes that traveled all over the planet Earth. From the cradle and the mother of civilization. And the root to it all. I don't care if you attach to it, then you know too. If say you attach to it and you say, right, I'm attached to that part too. And you know that's right, right. Then you say, okay, so lambs will do rule. If lambs will rule, meaning that I don't mean like they ruled the planet the longest and the most ancient. And then it works its way up. Alright, say you went with the Elijah's lessons. He would say it was only when they went into the jungles of West Asia, right? He would say, no, he would say that Daddy Shabazz took him into, I'm killing that. But, alright, let me just clarify. In modern language, they went from the areas of the Red Sea on both sides into well, basically from there they went and did the whole planet, circumnavigated the planet. That's why when they be saying, oh, we got lamb's wool saying they ain't lamb's wool. I'm not lamb's wool. We something else. We this or whatever the fuck. Okay, look. Even when people go by nationality, they say, well, I'm going by nationality. So you talking about nationality as of the UN since the new regime took over, right? The new European regime took over. That's why I said when he was talking about, when Bobby was talking about, no, he tried to dismiss the three. No, I'm telling you, you can't dismiss that. You can't dismiss it because, right, look, say you come with the beginning of it, and you start off with,
since I got sick.
The revolt, the revolution, the little revolt, the settlement. And so the settlement is Pelon. Okay, so from there, they making their move. Right from there. Actually, when they in the year 8,367, when they in that year, they're making their move. They're just not, they're doing it inside of a conglomerate. Like Yaqub is the ruler and the founder. And so, the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. I don't make these stories up. I didn't write that. They had that already in the books, saying that they were going to do that. Remember we read that book back in the 80s, that little yellow book. And then Malcolm said that the difference between the UN and of World War II and the and it wasn't even called the UN before World War II. I don't remember the name he called it, but it had a different incorporated name than UN. So that's what he was talking about. So that just takes you right back to the same thing I'm talking about. No. That shit's legit. What's up, family? That shit is legit. You just gotta catch on and say to yourself, oh, it doesn't just rise and fall fast. It rise and fall based on like geography or something in that like anthropology, sociology, that kind of stuff. It's moving in 2,000-year increments. It's not moving. People move in 100-year increments. Hell, they don't even get 100 if you ask me. But they move in 100-year increments. Wait, hold on. Peace. Ooh, pardon me. Divine understanding, born like now we do it, set the record straight. Ancient Ephesiatics, Son of Man 7. Got this knowledge of self. Publications and production, ranging. Right. So anyway, we were moving right along, and we were saying how they wanted you to feel by using that reverse psychology and shit on you. So how they make you feel is you're the victim, but they make you feel as if they're the victim. Right? The colonizer does that to you. You'll be the victim. How you know if you're the victim or not of colonization? Find out your indigenous language. And if your indigenous language is not the language that you speak right now, then you are the victim of colonization. And if you're the victim of colonization, believe this. Your knowledge, wisdom, understanding, freedom, justice, equality, food, clothing, shelter, love, peace, and happiness is based on skewed evidence at best. Truth and falsehood strangely mixed. In the middle, and straight up lies on the opposite end. Right? You have to take it from there and figure out if you're going to be able to, like I said before, NYC. No, I ain't going down. Peace. That's that same, shit is. Once it starts moving the way it's moving, it's hard to get out of the cipher. But you can get out of it. I'm telling you, Lord, if you see what it is we don't want to listen. When I told the God, I said, Lord, the original man are what is called problem solvers. We solve the problem, but our other brethren, they don't want to listen to the way of solving the problem so we could keep them around longer. So when the God Hammett dismissed the God, when the God said 6,000 year, and the God did right, he was like, I ain't, this your little platform, do you? Really, I shouldn't have said nothing. Should let you do you. Because right away he tried to dismiss that, because he's trying to dismiss the whole thing. And so, by him trying to dismiss the whole package, he's not catching the jewel. See, this is the jewel. In the opening door of the 6,000 year rule, that's when the devil first come out. You falling, he come out. That's the opening. So that's the beginning of the 6. They trying to act like the beginning of the 6 don't count. The beginning of the 6 counts. That's where the number starts. That's the beginning. Elijah used 120's language so you can look into the plus degree and see the manifestation. So when you're talking to someone who feels their academia can match the mathematical equation of 120, they might try to dismiss what you said based on academia, not actual facts and solar facts. Because academia is still skewed, because usually the original man in the wilderness of North America is basing his academia on somebody. Are you telling me Bobby went and did the excavation sites himself? No. He had to do what we all can do. Go to the monuments and look with your own eyes as much as they allow you to see, if they have a control of it in the government. I mean, the more degrees that they feel you bear witness to, they'll allow you to see more. Whichever one, if it's academic degrees or economic degrees. You have enough economics in today's world, you could go pretty much anywhere you want and see what the fuck you want to see. Believe that. That could take to the bank. Right? I'm telling you. And if you use 120 as your mathematical equation, you'll see a whole lot more than you think you're seeing. I wasn't going to let him just say that shit to the guard and try to dismiss the guard like that. You should have rode and showed and proved by saying, right, in the opening run, when he came out, right, colonization is a process, right? And it didn't happen all in one set. That's like he said, when he said, the 6,000 year rule, up, 1914, done. Right, that's when you start seeing that fall of the rule is falling. We in the cusp, the beginning, what you seeing of 900-year bang. See, when you see it from that perspective and you understand that nature is moving in 1,000-year increments to 2083.33. Okay, look. Let's start it off with in ciphers. Right? So in ciphers you're going to see 360. All right? So 360 years, nobody's doing that. And then if you take it to the next level and you say, all right, so no one's doing 360. We sure not doing carbon dating like 5,000 to 6,000. You're not doing that, and each hit half, every 5,000. Right? You're not doing that, and so I mean physically you're not doing that, and then you're not doing. You're not going to be able to do peace, family. You're not going to be able to do millennia. That's 2,000 years. You're not going to be able to do that. And 1,000 year hits, you're not going to be able to do ages or millennials. 1,000, and you're not going to be able to do age 2,000s, and right. You're not going to do that physically yourself. So we're going to look in the increments and the cycle of how the planet and people as a group, right? Say we're going to look at the group of people. And we're going to look at, say it's like, you're just trying to look and say, all right, I just want to see what, on the planet Earth, in 2000, 083.33 year increments up to 2,160 year increments, depending on where we're at in the constellations. Say we moving like that. And so now you see big pictures of the original people in the wilderness of North America and the world over. And once you see that, you'll say to yourself, what's the dominant manifestation? It's Lamb's wool. And if Lamb's wool is the dominant manifestation, everything after it is from the wool. And it doesn't, the lamb's wool here is only an outward manifestation of the level of carbon that is made manifest within the original people. And it is the main factor beside the shade. The shade of the skin is number 2. The lamb's wool is number 1 when they're talking about banging the original people of the earth in the head. Now, inside of the original people, we always have been, see, you mix in the 6,000 year history, the Bible and all that inside with your brain when you're trying to think of the original people in the wilderness of North America. And that's not how it works. Don't think that way. Think the original people was in the yes, they was in the wilderness of North America, but think the original people had circumnavigated and lived on the planet for so many millennia that at one time they had went through the 35,000 year cycles. How many 35,000 year cycles did the original man go through when he founded this planet? So how many did he go through before he founded this planet? So when they say he, they talking about he or her. He who's God, she who's earth, and the planet, bring about the gods of earth, teaching that birth. So I don't have to keep going through that again. But I'm saying from the foundation. So we keep traveling back. That's why you can't dismiss it. I know you wanted to dismiss it, and you was like trying to throw Elijah under the bus when you doing that dismiss. Or when we didn't know nothing, as if you know something now. We might know a little something according to the degrees of maybe the Europeans' degrees, you know a whole lot. But when you talking about the degrees of the universe, I don't think any of us know anything besides what little bit we didn't accumulated facts on. See? But don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. See, definitely you need How to Eat to Live, book 1 and book 2 from the gate. And then you got to have Otisville book 2, take 2, DVD 2, part 2. You need that. You need theology at time. Don't be listening to these just academia. There is no academia without the foundation. If you don't understand, and if you don't know and understand that the God said, along he gave us 120. I'm like, dude, you not in. Okay, we're not going to drop bombs and shit, but we're going to say this. That's not true. Allah knew and understand 120. Problem, bug, supreme wisdom. Everything Elijah had in the temple, he knew and understood all of that before he left the temple. So that argument is out. So we're going to leave that alone. And all that other stuff about what he brought out and didn't bring out. We all know the story about Bernice, his sister, when was the secretary and gave him mad lessons. He asked her to get this, that, whatever, the secretary. She brought everything for him. And we all know Elijah didn't object to him teaching the youth the knowledge of self. He even said, shit, they babies and they know how to quote those lessons better than y'all do. Alright, so that argument is gone. We're gonna kill that one, right? Please, let's kill that. And we shouldn't take things on face value. If we trying to find out information, we should just ask it instead of, I don't know, trying to say some negative shit when we don't really know, or whatever the case may be. As if to say, well, I know somebody who says this, that. Third-hand evidence is not the best evidence to use when you presenting the case in front of a board of those who know and understand who the true and living God was, is, and ever shall be under that nation of. Because if you're talking about NOI, then you need to go over there and let them tell you what they shit is. But if you're talking about the 5%, you need the 5% to tell you about what the 5% talking. If you was talking about the Hebrews, you need to go talk to them. If you was talking about the Moors, you need to go talk to them. Make me think of Grapevine. He said, we ain't all Moors. We not. We ain't all Pan-African. We don't all got the same seed. They Pan-African and Black Power movements and all that, they got their seed, how they see it, and how they act on their seed. The Moors act on their seed. All the different Hebrew groups, they act on their seed. See? All the different knowledge of self groups in the wilderness in North America move how they move. But I'm saying, if in the old days we could tell who was knowledge of self and what group, because say all the brothers got together, you might be able to tell this and that by some of the brothers, maybe sign symbols, token groups if you had and you knew. But the 85 might not know. But the 85 would automatically know when they seen the wisdom, myself, divine type of master. Because all of the knowledge of self groups, I don't care what level they're on, their woman is in 3/4. She's not naked. Whoa, that ain't cool. Your woman right around nude. That's not how we do it. See, listen. For so many centuries, the European had control over the whole nation in the wilderness of North America. Not control at the level that it is now, but control enough with war tactics and things of that nature, and gradually he took it all. Of course, it's a gradual process. I hate when they try to bring that out. Oh, he didn't have it all. We know he didn't have it all in one swoop. What the fuck is wrong with people? You just want to change the argument so you can get us off the cuff. But we ain't gonna let you get off the cuff. So that's why we make it concise and go from 1555 to 1865. He pretty much had you where he wanted you. It just gradually, from 1555 by 1865. And I'm not talking about the Americans just from Alaska to Chile. If we just use from Alaska to Chile, you getting banged in the head. But if we go from the Tropic of Capricorn to the Tropic of Cancer, like the lessons say go, and go all the way around the globe, I'm talking about that 1555. Talk about that one. See, that's what I'm saying. You're missing the picture, the big picture. Look at the circle and not linear through a line. You're killing me. All right, now that I explain that to the young people so they won't be listening to these old heads talking that old head shit, not even getting it. And you can't be dropping high science to the youth. And you got hypertension, diabetes, and everything else that comes along with the Western world and how they think. So you saying one thing when you're talking about excavation sites and history and and in the same breath, that dietary law is horrible, wrecked, and you don't present it right and exact. I've been said you ain't present it right and exact to inner circles. But once you just did that old try to dismiss the God, nah, we not gonna let that go. We ain't gonna let that go. So that's why I said, nah, he don't know what he's talking about it now. Because the opening is in the year 8,400. That is the beginning of the end of the rule. It has to have a beginning. Therefore, it will have a what? Ending. Talking about when we didn't know nothing. If we knew something now, then we wouldn't be over here dying from hypertension and diabetes and cancer. And we don't know shit. The fuck you mean we know this and that? We don't know a damn thing. We need to know something. We need a body of accumulated effect. When you start having a real body of accumulated effect, you start figuring out you don't know shit. You're saying, oh my God, I'm so behind. I gotta read like you should be moving like if you move it in school. How do they move in school? What's a full load? 3, 6, 9. So you should be knocking out 9 books a year. Are you fucking kidding me? Right? Full load, 3, 6, 9. Full load, 9 books every year. You should be banging them out. Whatever the subject matter is. Any of the main 7 sciences on them 2 high octaves, 8 and 9. What? Giving it to them like that, all right? So you can look that up yourself. And stop acting like you're imbeciles or you can't look shit up or you don't know how your brain works. I don't know. What is it that's not standing on your square and doing your own? I just gave it a Jew, and then you turn back around and ask me how to get it and prove it and this. I can't with you. So you don't do your own. I gave you the Jew. You don't go looking it up and nothing and come back with information that you did your own little research and be like, well, this is what I found and, you know, I still don't understand. Can you... No, that's not what I hear. I hear I ain't looked up shit. I ain't trying to find shit. Okay, you tell me all about it. I can't tell you shit. That's how the teacher don't talk that way. They give you the book, the information. They might even give a lecture on it or something that may be. You already had the lecture on the degrees. I can't with these. Y'all are killing me. I'm gonna need y'all to step your game up. You got a fucking computer in your hand. We had to go to the library and look shit up. Y'all sitting here with Google and the internet. You got a cell phone. You got every kind of wop. I can't with you. Y'all just killing me. You can get any app you want. Botanica app. You can go on Google and ask for the people who write papers on their theses, on their discoveries, on real papers that professors write, doctors write. Google will let you look at their papers that they publish. I mean, you're killing me. So, you might say, we already gave you the guide. Use the guide. What was the opening on the guide? They did the guide for you. So, if you were too scared to do it, then just say, I'm too scared to do it. Because they told me what to do. I just didn't do it. So if you didn't do it, then you can't blame anyone but yourself because you didn't do it. Then you gotta say, damn, I didn't do it. Now I gotta readjust because I didn't do it. But if you would have did what I told you to do, because you said, oh, well, you told me to do it. Yes, I told you what to do. Only reason why I told you what to do is because you present something to me. As if in the old days when I used to say, ask Devon, he might not have a solution right away, but he'll come up with a remedy. Just ask him. Okay, so you asked me. And then I gave you the remedy, and you said, oh, okay. And I said, right. So then you came back. You didn't say, I tried the remedy and it didn't work. You act like I didn't give you the remedy. You're giving me a repeat story of the same shit you said the last time. It's just a different equation. It's still an animal with a spine in it, but it looked different. But it's still got a spinal cord. Okay, that's what I'm saying. It looks like that to me. That's how I'm seeing it. Because I'm saying, but if you would have used the remedy that I gave you when the subject matter was first made manifest, or when I first approached you with it, it could be either way, depending on who you are, which one of the people that knowledge itself has interacted. It doesn't necessarily have to be me physically, but you interacted with someone that had knowledge itself, and they gave you the remedy, and you didn't do it. Right? Don't personalize it and make it me and you. Make it subject matter. So that goes all the way across time. Like, your parents might have ran into somebody with knowledge of self, and they said, I ain't doing that. Or you might have brought knowledge of self home, and I ain't doing that, and we ain't doing that, and That's what I'm saying. See, right now, there's people, the majority of the original people from Alaska to Chile can't deal with the dietary law that knowledge of self has to get us from up under the colonizers' thumb, knee, foot, economic suppression, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You ain't getting under shit. Okay, let's look at it from the gate. I told y'all the remedy, right? But they had to explain it. They were like, oh, can you? Oh my God. So I said, I'm not talking to these people anymore. I'm gonna just keep talking to the children. They're not even born yet. I'm talking to them. Because y'all are imbeciles. So look, children. The European colonizer has everybody in this realm called black, brown, red, yellow, white. And so they associate the color black with lamb's wool hair, and then they associate everybody else with some form of straight hair, brown, right, red, yellow, white. All right. Now, once you understand that, you see where you fit in. Whether you agree with it or not is one thing, but what the planet is doing and the governments of the planet is doing is another thing. Whether people look at it as good, bad, or indifferent is another thing. But I'm saying the basic raw structure is what they see is black, brown, red, yellow, white. That's what the fuck they see. Now, yes, that's not a reality. I'm not saying it is a reality and that race is real, because it's mad science to prove that that's not real. We're not talking about what's real and what isn't on the physical or biological sphere. We're talking about if you use these formulas, you'll be able to navigate through this crazy ass shit and you'll make it. You'll be good. You can do it. But you gotta understand the rules. All right, now, once you see that rule, you'll say to yourself, wow, they made the people who they consider to be black, whether they call themselves that or not, maybe they go by the UN name of themselves, And maybe they go by the UN name of themselves, but inside of each UN's flag, they still categorize you whether you have lamb's wool here or not. That's the point I'm bringing us back to, is that it's the lamb's wool here that you gotta be looking at, because that's where the ridicule comes from. You have that here, meaning the carbon level you have is insurmountable. That's the words they used. The people said the carbon level of lamb's wool is insurmountable. And so they have to strip that protein down to make the European colonizer feel as if, I don't know, he doesn't like it. He doesn't like that you have that level of carbon because he's always mad at you for it. That, right? And then the other ones, that's why I say, don't be so harsh on the brown, red, yellow, because they're just rolling with the white because they're the most powerful and they have the control over the ideology and what's going on right now, because they're in the position of might, not right, might. And so they're in the position of colonizer. And so they're folding because they're trying to make sure they don't get fucked up all the way like they already got fucked up, because Britain and the other major European colonizers already ran through them and made them kind of half-ass submit to them in so many different ways. It's just that the lamb's wool one, they took it to the next level because it was easier to do, because it's hard to separate your lamb's wool. Well, it's easier for them to separate, but it's hard for you to separate your lamb's wool from not having lamb's wool. That's why you see this psychological damage all over the earth. Everywhere I went when I was in the military, you would always see, I'm not saying that when you leave America, a lot of us don't have natural hair, but a lot of us don't wear it that way. We feel as if leaving it in its natural state, you don't feel like you all the way dressed up yet till you make it more anglicized. It's not so bad now as it used to be, because once the Rastafari dread and all of that came out, that kind of took some of that heat off of it. But historically, from Alaska to Chile, since the colonizer been here, and once he got total control over the land, like at first it was a fight. Of course, we fought that motherfucker tooth and nail all the way till he finally got it all, but he's had it all long enough that our lifetime feels like we don't remember when he didn't have it. But he didn't have it all the time. You just look at the old maps and you'll see gradually he took it, right? But we had circumnavigated, like I said, we had circumnavigated in the 35,000 year cycle and the 25,000 year cycle. Both cycles, we already did this whole planet like it was all good. So no matter where he went, if he enslaved the indigenous inhabitants and then he controls you being babies, and then he separates mothers and fathers and he controls the narrative and he has the babies, he tell you whatever story he wants to say, where your genetic code came from, who your parents was, and where you came from and how you got here, And now, since Elijah showed and proved with the first degree and the 1 to 10, and then we took it through academia, so start off with J. Rogers and work your way up to Clyde Winters. That'll cover that. So what's in between all that? Dr. Jeffries, Dr. Henry Clark, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, E.R. Diop, Civilization, Destruction of Black Civilization, Chancellor Williams, The Greatest Story Never Told, just keep banging them. Go with Lena Cantrell, but what? We could just go crazy on that degree alone, right? right? And they can't match you with that. They won't be able to control the narrative because you'll be using actual facts and solar facts, and they'll be using some shit to keep that racist shit going. You will easily beat them. They can't beat you with that in any kind of debate, whether it's in your brain, the programming that they already gave you, and you pulling out those pins, or it's they want to act like they defending that garbage. That even when you get to a university, they tell you that shit you learned in high school is fucking. Don't listen to that. That is horrible. Your whole social studies class is garbage. Believe none of it. And even when you go into the sciences themselves will be right and exact, but the history that they tell you of how it was discovered and created and gotten, or whatever the case may be, lies. That's why he said the truth and falsehood strangely mix. The formula will be right and exact. They tell you this motherfucker discovered the formula and told it, and lie. That ain't what happened. Straight up lies. So, that's why the millennials in the wilderness of North America done. Maybe I want to say the upper middle class and middle class children up that went to private school and their parents had money, and their scholastic skills are pretty good. We tested that. Their interaction, their deductive reasoning, their analytical skills, the communication skills, those are all pretty good. Now, a lot of them are still caught up in the matrix, but they had functioning tools that they could use that had something to do with the 7 sciences, right? Music was in there, art, they had the art appreciation, they had music appreciation, they had arithmetic, which all that goes encompasses it from when you doing arithmetic and climb up. Language, see, all that, all right. So, culture, creed, And they were pretty good. They were all right, especially if they were the original people and they had the good knowledge of self-root. Because both parents would have knowledge of self. The child was good if both parents have knowledge of self. Even if they had to run through this craziness, what would happen is, if something happened between a man and a woman, and these are actual facts and solar facts, these are what took place. Something happened between a man and a woman, and she either went all the way back to the other side or went halfway back, or I don't know, got sucked into the system, and so the baby is confused and they don't know which way to deal with it, and And most of the time, the girls fall victim. Doesn't necessarily mean the dudes, because I remember the 3 of them. It was 3. 2 boys and a girl. Well, it was really 5 if you think about it, but the other 2 stayed up north. The other 3 went down south. And they all turned into 85s in no time. Right, so all 5 of them turned into 85s when they was orphans. They became pretty much orphans, or widows and parents as widowed sons and widowed daughter, and then orphans and all that kind of shit was going on in the old days when the Contel Pro was taking out the motherfuckers, right? And so the children become 85s, and then some of them spark up and wake up and come out of that 85ism, and some of them don't. You just lose whole batches. But I said that to say that those who come out of it come into the next level. So when they come into the next level, even when they hear the high science, it's on one side, but when they hear that dismissal, I hate when they do that. You think because you Pan-African with the university, with the European, you could dismiss somebody. See, you just because you was on your platform, and so he wasn't supposed to say nothing. I ain't letting that go. I didn't like that. That was disrespectful. You had him there. You didn't have to ride it that way. If you were so intelligent, you could have went right to Chancellor Williams and seen the destruction of black civilization. I know it. Well, don't say it wasn't happening even back then. Yes, it was. That ain't what Dr. Henry Clark said. That ain't what Dr. Ben said. So their manifestation in narrative and storytelling of what took place from what their research is sounds closer to Elijah than I heard some others. Right? So that's why I gave the youth those names. That's why I said, nah, you should ride with, say you don't got a lot of money, you ain't doing, and you got the first degree in the 1 to 10, and you want a one package that'll bang them in the head. So get J.A. Rogers' Sex and Races, Volume 1, 2, and 3. Get J.A. Rogers from Superman to Man. Africa's Gift to the World from J.A. Rogers. Great Men of Color from J.A. Rogers. Get those. And you could get that little pamphlet, The Presidents. He called them, he's still in the old school, so he said that he used those terminologies. And I'm saying, I don't use those terminologies, so I'm saying get those. You could get those books and get Black Man of the Nile and His Family. I would get that. I would get The Moors of Spain by Poole. Lane, Poole. Get that. If you're gonna start traveling through it, you're gonna get everything J.A. Rogers put out and go crazy. Everything Ivan Van Serta put out, everything Diop put out, everything Dr. Ben put out, all those speeches from Henry Clark, get all of those. And that's just the academia part. If you're doing the academia, that's where they don't feel like you going with just knowledge of self. These are people who not 120. These are for people who not 120, but they want to know too. That's it right there. It bangs them in the head. All right, so now that'll get an opening. Now, if they start saying they want to get more into it, well, where did the next level, like what was going down when Elijah went down? You could get those books when they weren't here. When Ivan and them wasn't here, and they were saying, well, that's why I say, if you get those, then you go to the next level and you go with Clive Winters. That's going to complete you right there, because he's going to take you back. He's going to move the exact same way J.A. Rogers moves with the bibliography, so you could go research those books, those museums, those excavation sites, You feel me? And so he's going to do the exact same thing, so you could trace it back yourself. So that's why I said, I'm going to need you to get that passport. I know they thought we was talking about resorts. Resorts are okay. You can use the resort so you can go to the excavation site and your shit be safe. You see what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about. So you get the books. In the back of the book, the bibliography is going to tell you where he got his proof from, whether it's museums and whatever the case may be. It may not. I mean, we fortunate because we live in the city. And we can come right to the museums in New York and look. And D.C. ain't far. You can hit up and down the coast, go to Atlanta, whatever museums they got there in Florida. Then you start going in the back, you start looking at the way the maps was, who was in control of the boom. So the Spaniards was running shit for a minute, way before the English was on this side. Gotta remember that. Colonizers, who owe? They keep saying, who owe? Who owe? I don't give a fuck if they acting like the shit was 100 years ago. If you in 50 states, that shit was 1965. Get the fuck out of here. That shit wasn't that long ago. 1965, you ain't been really able to do what you able to do now, because I still don't think you all that free to me, but I hear you. But you're a little more freer than you once were. You haven't really been as free as you are now until Malcolm and Martin and Medgar Evers and Emmett Till gave up that physical composition. That's my word is bond. When they gave up their physical bodies and all that, then you didn't have no more Jim Crow and all that shit on your ass. That's what I'm talking about. So, now that you don't have Jim Crow crawling up your ass, you only got the penal institution fucking you up, and the feminists and all this other crazy shit, they just bring more shit to you, but you know, it is what it is. They just can't be, well, I can't say they just can't walk up to you and hang you because they fucking walked up and killed George Floyd, beat the fuck out that other motherfucking California. He kept saying, can't we all just get along and all that other shit. Right, everybody kept crying about police brutality since God knows when. It's the same argument ever. And you got motherfuckers talking about butt. Motherfucker out of here with that bullshit. And you know, the guard said pause. You know, he's like, yeah, you gotta be saying pause now. When they gonna stop saying pause? Shit, stop acting like Sodom and Gomorrah. When we gonna stop pausing? We need to keep pausing so you can know what the hell going on. But some of this shit need to be, you need to hit the power button. Reboot that shit. That shit need to, bring it back to a factory, whatever the case may be. Anyway, divine understanding, born of light. Now we do it at the registry, ancient or the free age addicts under man seven. Boom. Publication, production, arranging, all that. We trying to do what we doing. Peace of the gods and the earth, you know what I'm saying. This motherfucker's way. Treat me like no rapper.